Now, on an individual basis, what efforts would you recommend we make, no matter how little, to reduce gas emissions?
You see, this emission of gas is an anthropogenic activity, which means it is man-made. Man, on his own, must begin to carry out green environmental practices. The local communities that are exposed to this devastating effect need to be educated and be aware of some of the activities and actions that escalate the disaster. We should not, for floodplain areas, we should not build our houses on our waterways. We should not block our drains. For emission, we should not burn our waste and release those noxious gases. We should not burn tires, as we do. The bikes that we drive, the Okada that we drive, they emit so much gases and they should be controlled. Generators in this country, most of them are second-handed, and they emit carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. So we must stop also cutting down trees. These trees that help us to accumulate and sink the carbon dioxide that we inevitably release, these are all individual practices that will complement the effort of government. So charity must start at home. We must all fight to reduce emission in whatever way and in other practices that we conduct in ourselves and as anthropogenic activities.
All right, Professor Lawrence Ezemonye, thank you for joining us today on Africa 54.
Thank you very much. I'm indeed delighted to be here.
U.S. President Donald Trump says the United States is deeply disturbed by and closely monitoring ongoing violence in a number of African countries. Trump spoke last week at a luncheon with African leaders on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. Africa has tremendous business potential and represents huge amounts of different markets for American firms, Trump told the African leaders from a number of countries, including Ivory Coast, Namibia, Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa. He promised to send the United States UN ambassador to Africa to help in mitigating their various conflicts.
Thank you very much, General. I appreciate it. We're closely monitoring and deeply disturbed by the ongoing violence in South Sudan and in the Congo. Millions of lives are at risk, and we continue to provide humanitarian assistance. But real results in halting this catastrophe will require an African-led peace process and a sincere, really sincere commitment of all parties involved. And I know you're working on that, and you're working on that very hard. To assist in these efforts, I'm sending Ambassador Nikki Haley to Africa to discuss avenues of conflict and resolution, and most importantly, prevention. Africa has tremendous business potential. I have so many friends going to your countries trying to get rich.
Well, President Trump congratulated the leaders on the fast pace of economic growth in many regions of Africa.
Over 850,000 children in the Kasai region of the Democratic Republic of Congo are without basic services such as healthcare, access to clean water, and education after clashes between militia groups and security forces. Many of the children who fled their homes are now vulnerable to attacks and abuse in a country where escalating violence adds to a growing humanitarian disaster. The United Nations estimates that over 1.4 billion people have been displaced.
Violence between the army and local militia in Central Democratic Republic of Congo has uprooted more than 850,000 children, leaving them without basic services. The United Nations says children are bearing the brunt of the crisis and are being forced to endure horrific ordeals, including abuse, detention, and recruitment into militia groups. A 12-year-old boy named Luck escaped a militia group where he's been enlisted to fight. Luck says he had to undergo an initiation rite to join the militia group.
The day of my baptism, I circled the fire 3 times and jumped over it. I was given things to swallow. Afterwards, they took a machete and hit me 3 times on the chest. Next, they gave me plastic bags to swallow, saying that if I concentrate on something, I can do it. After that, They injured me all over to show that even if I am attacked, I can't be hurt. In the end, they gave me a knife and stick to go and fight.
He and other children now live in a UNICEF-supported safe house in Kasai. About half of militia members are estimated to be children, many younger than 15, and more than 500 have been deployed as fighters or used as human shields.
I'm happy here. They give me clothes and teach me about personal hygiene. They also do schoolwork to help us catch up.
Kasai is the scene of a growing humanitarian disaster in a nation where violence has spiraled since President Joseph Kabila refused to step down when his mandate ended in December. A back-to-school campaign has been launched in the region in the meantime, encouraging parents to enroll their children for classes. UNICEF estimates that 440,000 children could not complete their schooling last year, largely due to the violence and insecurity in the Kasai region.
It's now time for a short break, but before we go, a reminder to visit our website, channelstv.com, for news and programming around the clock. You can also find us at youtube.com/channelsweb. Still to come, passions ignite over the CFA. Will it be abandoned in favor of a common African currency? Of that story after the break.